Rick?
Okay, cool. So definitely pass this around. There's a lot of different flavors in there. There's not one more than the other, but just a smorgasbord. I'll make it as short as possible. I always like to start with, I went to SDSU, and when I got here, I was telling Lance that I've done a lot of help at SDSU and volunteer, and I used to say, hey, I was just a student, so I know where you guys are. I was in your seat. And I realized that was 8 years ago now, so maybe not as relevant, and time seems to pass pretty quickly. But we started Barnana shortly after SDSU, so 3 years after I graduated, and we've been doing it for 5 years now. So I can talk you guys a year off about Bananas, and I'll just kind of give you a story for those who know about the brand, and then we'll dive into the product. And also, I think the best way to do all this stuff is, I know you guys have a specific project after this, but interrupt me with any questions, because I'm a complete open book. I remember sitting in your chair, and the most value I ever got was when somebody would be like, well, what's the real thing happening? Don't give me the bullshit answer. Give me the real answer, right? Because all we're trying to do is bridge dots and connect how we make something else happen from your guys' perspective. So our brand is a very fun brand. We're all things banana. There's a little agenda of what we're going to do and what we're going to go over. So the story of Barnana essentially started 5 years ago. 2 of us went to undergrad at SDSU, and then another friend of ours, a professional triathlete. We found out that banana is the most wasted produce item in the world. So banana is the #1 selling produce item in the world. You guys, show of hands, who ate a banana today? Wow. So it's around half the room. So bananas sell more than apples and oranges combined. So most people, it's kind of hard to fathom that. So it's #1 selling produce item, but it's also #1 wasted produce item. So we found out that 50% of all bananas are wasted. So that's 50% of all bananas that are grown are thrown away. I know that number is shocking, right? The way that happens is in 2 chunks, right? So there's production waste and there's consumption waste. This is like an hour conversation. I'm just going to whittle it down to really something basic. So our business focuses on production waste. So this is where bananas are grown, harvested, handled, clean, picked, and packed, right? So things before reaching retail. So of all waste, production waste is 60% of total banana waste. So that means that these bananas never even make it to the produce shelf. So that's why whenever we go to like a retailer and all the bananas look perfect and all the apples are waxed, this is why. And the reason it's higher for bananas is bananas have about 100 different quality specs they have to meet for them to be sold as produce. And that's also why all our bananas look beautiful. So all the bananas that don't look beautiful, essentially they end up not being exported. And the reason that our business exists is because nobody ever tried to solve that portion of bananas. So if you look at all of the produce waste, so apples, oranges, grapes, I'm sure chia may have some of this, is there's always a really strong secondary product for that waste, or the ugly one. So it's apple juice, orange juice, that's grape, jelly, and so bananas just never had that thing. And our idea was like, hey, well, can we create something that's all banana-based? That was the original thesis of the brand, is to take something that was wasted and create a forward-thinking food brand out of it. So that was 5 years ago, and we've definitely been a lot more lucky than smart. We probably made every single mistake and more, and for some god reason, we're here still. So, yes.
I haven't been a student in 22 years, so this is kind of fun for me. What does a production waste banana cost you versus a regular banana cost you?
Great question.
Thank you.
So, bonus points for this man. Yeah.
I'll put your name on Blackboard and give you an A.
One star. So, believe it or not, when we started, the product was free.
Okay.
And the reason so is, Ecuador is where we get all our bananas from. It's a country of 16 million people. It exports 20% of the world's bananas. So you can see the dichotomy in that ratio. So essentially what happens in really dense monocrop countries that grow bananas is that there's not enough mouths to feed for this excess banana. Usually in a country like Brazil or India, that there's a high population, all the ones that are just not slightly good enough, they sell at the farmer's market, there's street carts. Doesn't happen in Ecuador. So we started it being free, and then as we grew, learning lesson #1, when something's free to you, nobody else cares about it, right? And so learning lesson #2 for us was like, you gotta create value in the supply chain. And that has to be proportional value to who you're working with. And so we started creating a market price for that. So then people are not dependent, but they're interested in our business. When it's free, they're not interested in your business. They're like, I'll go away, right? Just get this on my farm. So we pay for it now, but it's 10 cents on the dollar.
Got it.
For what a banana would cost.
Cool. Thanks.
That was, for us, the reason we started the business is, hey, look, we have no background in food. It was 3 guys that had no reason to be in the food business, let alone the banana business, but we needed to have some sort of competitive advantage because we knew we were going to make a lot of mistakes. And this was our #1 competitive advantage. So this is kind of, I hate seeing this chart. This means that we're like legit big company, and in my mind, I still think we're this like super scrappy we are, but
We don't have one of those.
yeah.
So where'd your banana box go? Did it
Yeah,
get
it's
stalled?
getting fast. Everybody
Oh, it's still going around. Okay.
It's getting hoarded this side of the room's like, what the heck? That's
I was thinking, wait a minute,
not
it's not
cool.
getting passed around.
I think this is important because this is what our values are, it's what we stand for. So the foundation is our DNA. So not just words. This is essentially how we think about product development, how we think about culture in the company, how we think about where we sit in the marketplace, how we think about anything that passes through decision has to go through this filter here for us. So we're always going to have these as the foundations of who we are. The next one is essentially how we think about how we get out of bed in the morning, right? What are our mission we strive for? This is, if we wake up and make decisions in the office, this is why we're there, right? So we want to end food waste on organic banana farms. End is a pretty strong word, right? But that's also why it's never going to be fully attainable, but it's what we live for. And then the last is, if we achieve what we want to achieve, we want to be the brand synonymous with banana snacks. It's kind of the higher ideal, right? So think Palm Wonderful is a brand about pomegranates. We want to do that for bananas, right? So Vita Coco did it for coconuts. These guys did it for chia. We want to do that all. We want to own the thing of banana, and we're on our way. We have 3 products. You guys have a handful of them there. We're going to spend today talking about 2 products here. It's the brittle and the plantain chips. And this is one of our farms in Ecuador. So if you can tell by just the landscape of this, big monocrop, high density of bananas, not a lot of mouths, so it's an issue. This just kind of give you an idea of the brand vibe, what we're about. So 5 years in, we, like I said, did more lucky than smart. It started with 3 guys and nothing what they're doing. We're 16 people full time. The company's doing 12 million in sales, and so small in the food business because we're going against big players, but we're making a dent. We've done a decent job. This is some of the retail distribution we're in. So we're national with Starbucks, national with Whole Foods. We're national with most of the accounts other than Costco. So it's been a fun ride. I think that more trends have felt in our favor, and we've made some good decisions, but it's been a fun ride. So some of the things I want to talk. Yes.
Kim?
I pointed the laser at you like I'm going to hurt you.
How did you get to Ahold? Because I work for this company in the Netherlands.
Yeah. So Ahold is based in the United States as well. They're a big retailer in the Northeast. Yeah, and it's a German company, I believe, right? Or is it a Dutch company? Yeah. So they have a pretty big presence in the Northeast. I think they have like 440 stores in the Northeast. Yeah.
So you only sell them like in America? So not in.
We sell in 2 other countries, Japan and Canada. Yeah, back right.
Yeah, how many retailers in total are you guys?
This is a great story. So we met like a month ago probably, and I remember at your stage when you're doing modeling of like how you build a business. In retail, you say, okay, how many stores are you in? What is your units per store per week per SKUs? How you kind of think about building the business, and then you can do the math, right? How many SKUs? How many stores? And I remember asking that exact same question to somebody when I was in your chair. I was like, how many stores are in? And I wish I had the answer that I really knew. And it's hard because it's a distribution business, right? And you're one step removed from it, right? So I can give you a range. I think we're probably in, with Starbucks, we're probably in, so outside of Starbucks, we're probably in 6,000 stores. And then with Starbucks, we're probably in 13,000 stores. Roughly. Yeah. Your question's good. Okay. Seriously, ping pong is the best, so feel free to
One in the back.
Are you selling direct or using distributors?
Yeah,
Brokers.
exactly. So 90% of our business is through distribution. Show of hands, nobody, do you guys know what that means? Should I give you a rundown? All right, so this is actually a good story because when I was in school, I wish I knew this. So I would always go to Ralph's here when I was here, and I'd buy the frozen pizzas because it was the cheapest thing they offered, right? And I think like a DiGiorno frozen pizza is $4.99 the last time I checked. and there's actually a cheaper one for like $2.99, and I often bought the $2.99 one. And so the reason I'm telling you this story, it all makes sense, is that the way the food game works is if you're buying a DiGiorno pizza at $4.99, then the way you can think about it is that the brand sold it to the distributor for half that price. Make sense, right? So let's just say it's $5. So DiGiorno sold DiGiorno to a distributor, there's a lot of them out there, for $2.50. The distributor marks it up, call it 8 or 12%, and then sells it to the retailer, and the retailer sells it to us, right? So essentially take half. So DiGiorno sells the distributor $2.50, but DiGiorno has to make that pizza, right? So DiGiorno has costs involved in that pizza. So normal margins in the food business, I say healthy margins, call it 50%. So let's just say it costs DiGiorno $1.25 to make that pizza. And this is what I wish I knew. What the hell is in that pizza for $1.25, right? It's a pretty big thing, it's got a lot of stuff, but that gives you an idea of value chain. So next time you buy something really cheap, I would ask you that stuff for the question, because it makes you think twice about, whoa, yeah, it's really cheap, but like, what's 80 cents? You know, what are you gonna make on 80 cents, right? So the way the food business works is we sell to a distributor sells to a retailer. So we don't sell, there's oftentimes where we sell direct to a retailer, but it's rare. 90% of our business is distribution. I wish it was the other way around.
Do you guys have any trucks that service the LA area? Because you guys are local there.
We do not do any direct distribution ourselves, no. You know, I think your category, it might make sense. It's just hard, you know, we've always made decisions. We don't want to be, we're not experts in logistics. We're not experts in trucking. We are experts in brand building and storytelling. That's what we're experts in.
Okay.
Cool, so this slide I think tells a really good story, and it's gonna be one of the questions I have to ask for you guys is, so there's things, so ACV. So ACV means all channel volume. It is a representation of your market share per se, right? We can just say that that's the penetration in the marketplace is a good way to think about it. So we have, let me go back here. So we have 90% penetration in Whole Foods. So nationally, we're 90% of all the Whole Foods, which is pretty good. We have 76% penetration in natural, so like natural food stores of Sprouts. 54% penetration in specialty gourmet. You guys are probably like, what the heck is specialty gourmet? The closest store here I can think of specialty gourmet would be like
Gelson's?
Gelson's, yeah. But is Gelson's in San Diego?
Yeah, they're on.
There are now. Oh, there's a Gelson's here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
What does penetration mean? Like in 45% of these shops, they offer this?
It's a good question. So the technical definition of ACV is all channel volume. So it's not necessarily the actual absolute quantity of stores. It's percent of the total dollar sales of that channel. So you could be, let's just for example, if one store sold 90% of the sales, but they had 10 stores, and you were in that one store, you have a 90% ACV. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So all channel volume is not store count, but it's dollars, dollar count. Not of your brand, but of the total marketplace. SDSU has gotten a lot smarter since I was here. It was like, oh yeah, got that one. Took me like a week to figure that out. Thank you guys, by the way. You make me look really good, because it's hard to get in here now. And when I went here, it wasn't. So.
Because they have good teachers. Because they have good teachers.
Yeah, it's exactly right. All the teachers, yeah. And so we're at 54% ACV in specialty gourmet, and then 6% ACV in conventional. Conventional is Kroger, Safeway, Albertsons, Vons, name your next boring grocery store. And so down below here is the growth in that channel. This is going to be relative, and I think we can probably send this out to everybody. I'm happy with that. It's the growth in the channel. Our brand rank, which is important, so how we rank against our peers, and this is based on dollar sales against other items, and then ACV, which is up there. So the reason this is important is I'm going to ask you guys to put together a channel strategy for new products that we're launching. One of them you guys have, which is brittle, but I don't think there's a lot of it, so share.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's bomb.
I'll try some.
It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so this is the breakdown currently of our revenue. So of that, call it 12 million.
Wow.
90% of it is this product, which there's 5 flavors or 6 flavors. You guys have a smorgasbord of them. 10% is this product. We just launched this brittle product. It's brand new. And then 0% is plantain chips. This launches nationally with Whole Foods in March of 2018.
Wow,
So
good
not
for
in
you.
marketplace yet. Yeah.
It's huge.
Excited, yeah.
Wow.
And so the brief, the question for the team here is to put your thinking caps on. Oh, I guess I can talk about this real quick. So my business partner is Norwegian, and so whenever we make consumer profiles, they turn into Norwegian names. But I think this is important. I can't ask you guys to develop a marketing strategy and a go-to-market without understanding who our consumer is. So Bjork is one of our consumer types. She's a real person. She's 1934, no kids. She lives in a metropolitan area, dense urban environment. She probably takes Uber and Lyft a lot. She loves yoga and Pilates, and she's a Barnana advocate. So Gunnar is your active outdoor hiking CrossFit guy. Same age range, no kids. The two things about these things, no kids, high disposable income. Think urban areas, probably lean blue. So that's kind of the profile type of them. Astrid is a young mom with a kid, probably also high disposable income, but lives in urban areas. And this is, you guys get a sense, this is our consumer profile, and Magnus. So we skew female. About 64% of our consumers are female, and we skew high in the disposable income level. Our products retail, the ones you're eating, the big bags are $4.99, the small bags are $1.99, that bag is $4.99, and the plantain chips are $4.99. You can just call our company $4.99. Yeah.
Where are you guys getting all that data?
It's a good question. So because we, in the distribution game, right, we sell to the distributor sells to the retailer, we don't know who buys our products at Whole Foods, right? So the way we get this data is online sales, Amazon, and demos,
Okay.
and then marketing events. So I wouldn't say that this is in the statistical confidence intervals. I would say this is 2 standard deviations from the mean. All right, so customer profile. Any other questions? Perfect. So the question is, banana brittle, very different product than the chewy banana bites, right? I hope you guys get a chance to try both. Plantain chips, you guys are like, what the heck, we don't have any here, that's not fair. I'll tell you what they are. It's pretty self-explanatory, but the question is, where do we go with these products, right? What's the channel strategy, what's the marketing strategy, what's the go-to-market strategy, and then what's the competitive landscape? With 2 products that we are launched, this one's already launched nationally, so I kind of already have some data, but I want you guys to come up with something. And this one hasn't launched yet, but it's scheduled to launch nationally at Whole Foods in March 2018. Give you some ideas of the attributes of the products. So for people who have tried the brittle, it's thinly baked banana crisp. So the first ingredient in this is bananas. It's banana puree. Very different than anything you see on the marketplace because it's not a cookie. Because the number 1 ingredient is fruit, and it's not like flour, right? It's not flour-based. It's organic. It's made with organic coconut oil, and it eats like a cookie. It's gluten-free. This one was an incredibly tough product for us to develop because what the hell do you call it, right? It's a crisp. Is it a cracker? Is it a brittle? Is it a thin? There's a lot of different ways we can call it. We ended up with banana brittle, but that comes with challenges. Where do you put this in the store? Who does it compete against in the store? Is it a cookie? Is it like a kale chip? You guys figure it out. The plantain chip is a lot easier. So the reason we developed this product is a Whole Foods buyer has come to us and said, hey, we want a new product in the salty snack set, and the number 1 selling salty snack right now in our set is a private label plantain chip. Private label means it's a Whole Foods brand, right, or like a Safeway brand. And so the idea was, can we take plantain, who's eaten plantain chips? It's about the same thing eating banana. Plantain chips historically have been marketed to consumers as a very ethnic product, right? Think about the plantain chips you've eaten, they're either private label or ethnic. Ethnic meaning like, in the ethnic portion of the grocery store, not necessarily talking to the person that's buying Frito-Lays, right? It's in a different section of the store. So the idea is, let's bring the plantain chip, which is a good tasting, it's a grain-free item, it's not a potato chip, it's not a potato chip, to the mainstream with really loud branding and packaging, and target that customer base that already eats plantain chips, but yes.
So are the plantains like wasted plantains
Yes,
as well?
same. Yep, same. So all the things we're going to do are all upcycled. And so we'll be the only organic plantain chip on the marketplace. We're cutting it like a ruffle, so it's going to look more like a chip than a plantain chip. And there's gonna be really flavor-forward profile. So really loud packaging, flavor-forward, and it's fried in healthy oils, coconut oil, which most chips are like corn oil or canola oil. This is an easier one than where it goes in the store. It's pretty self-explanatory. So these are the questions. Recommend a go-to-market strategy for both products. What is the competitive landscape for this product and that product? So separate product groups. What are the trade-off items, really? What is a consumer going to trade up or down with for these items? And then prepare a SWOT analysis for both items. I didn't give you guys the price. Actually, no, I did tell you guys the price.
$4.99.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I wasn't going to ask them.
Constance?
Yeah.
And what is a go-to-market strategy? What do you mean with this?
Yeah, so this is the go-to-market channel strategy. So what I mean channel strategy is there's a lot, retail is endless, right? So the hardest thing about retail is that you can sell your product anywhere. You can sell it at the SDSU Food Market, you can sell it at Bond, you can sell it at Starbucks, you can sell it at Kroger, you can sell it in the airports, you can sell it at the Hotel Del Mar, in Starbucks. So it's endless. What's the best way to launch this product and that product and build the best following in the channel, to be specific, right? Because if you're everywhere, you're nowhere.
Like one supermarket.
One supermarket or one convenience, maybe. Maybe it's only in the convenience stores in the beginning. Or maybe it's only in Specialty Gourmet. Maybe it's only in Costco. Maybe it's only in Whole Foods. So you guys, based on what you think and feel and research, where you think the best way to plant the flag to get the best influence of the product.
And I can help you guys with more of that outside,
Yeah.
specific to your projects.
I'm making your life difficult right now.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a stupid question, but I'm not.
No stupid questions.
Yeah, okay. I'm not from America, so I don't know, where would you place your own brand, like in the current situation now? Are you a well-known brand in the supermarkets or?
Gosh, I cannot believe you don't know.
It's not
Yeah.
big in Denmark, you know that now.
We're huge in Denmark. No. So I guess the better way to describe that and answer that question is this, right? So if you are a Whole Foods consumer and shopper, then we're 90% of the store. So you may or may not. There's 30,000 SKUs in there. I would say we are an early brand. We have decent distribution, but we're definitely early from an awareness factor. And we skew based on that customer profile demographic data, right? We skew high income, and we skew sophisticated, college-educated, we skew female, and so you're tending to find our products in those markets, right? You're not going to find our product in Bentonville, Arkansas, going to Walmart right now, right? So I would say if you look at the spectrum, there's Walmart, and then there's Whole Foods, and we're probably in the upper Whole Foods area. Is where our consumers are.
Bisha?
Yeah.
So for the go-to-market strategy, you don't want us focusing on Whole Foods?
No, I want you guys to focus on what you think is the best strategy to launch each product. Not based on what we have done or not done, right? It's like maybe we're missing something. Maybe you go into Costco to start, And so it's a blend of demographic data, it's strategy data, yeah.
Are you guys doing an exclusivity with Whole Foods to start the planting?
We do. We have a 90-day, so look at you're giving away the, no! Yeah, so we're already launching with Whole Foods, but okay, beyond Whole Foods. It's a 90-day exclusive for Whole Foods.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. Those are the questions.
Any other questions for Matt, Nadine?
I just, all the way from the beginning, but when you started, did you learn about that fact about bananas that a lot of them go wasted, or was it, I want to do something with bananas? Like, where did that idea come from?
Yeah. So it was very cerebral. Is my business partner, his name's Kawe. He's from Brazil. And he grew up eating, did anybody try the original one, just banana?
Banana with chocolate or just banana?
Yeah, just banana. That's the original right there that you have. Yeah, so that was the original idea, it's just banana, right? So it's this idea of 2012, coconut water was coming to the States, acai was coming to the States, and does anybody know anybody that's Brazilian in here? The Brazilians are insane, right? So they're like the most convincing, machismo, charismatic people, and he's like, we have to bring this banana snack that nobody knows about, but we should do it. And I'm like, this is a terrible idea, right? And then that started, if you have any friends that are starting businesses, our goal as friends are to tell them it's a bad idea, right? Or it's to tell them like, hey, I don't know, you should think about this, think about that. Like, you poke holes, right? You need to poke holes in all these arguments. And so through the poking holes, we discovered the banana waste. And then we discovered that, wait, there's no brand doing this around bananas. And then after you discover a few things, you're like, well, we got to do this, right? So that was the beginning story.
Well, Lisa?
Yeah.
Is eating like one of these eating like the one banana?
One bite is one banana. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so the small bags, there's around a banana to a banana and a half, depending on the product. And the big bags, there's around 3 to 5 bananas. So it's pretty dense. And then the brittle, I haven't even done the calculation. I think the brittle has like 3 bananas in it as well. So it's a lot of fruit. Yeah, in the back.
I don't know if you answered it, but where do you base them? Where are you manufacturing?
We have a bunch of Keebler elves. So we have 4 manufacturing facilities, and I say that we don't own them. They're contract manufacturing facilities. 3 in California, 1 in Sandusky, Ohio, which I think that town needs a new name.
You think?
It's a bad branding, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I just say Ohio. I don't even think it's just Ohio. It's somewhere in Ohio.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Lisa?
Yeah.
Did you say why you named it?
Did not.
Why did you name it?
So there, in all business growth, there's the story that sounds good and there's the real story. I'll tell you guys both. So we started the company in La Jolla and we knew nothing. We didn't know what we were doing, and so we originally, like all young people, like we were going to make a bar. And so the original idea was a banana-based bar, hence Barnana. And we developed the bar, we had the packaging lined up, and there's a great entrepreneur in San Diego here. You guys might have met him, Jeff Crad. Yeah, Jeff's a legend. And so Jeff is a San Diego entrepreneur. He started a company called Naked Juice. And so he joined our advisory board, and we're like so pumped and jazzed, and we're developing this bar, and he's like, you guys are insane. You do not want to launch a bar. The bar is the most competitive set in the grocery store. If you guys ever go to a grocery store, it's just like a sea of, it's like the pop-up website of the internet. It's like these bars, right? And so we were like, well, this guy probably knows what he's talking about. And so we essentially evolved. We said, hey, instead of launching a bar, we're going to launch the same thing, but it's just cut up in pieces and in bites. And we didn't change the name. So that's the real story. And we stuck with the name. So guess what? We're going to probably launch a bar at some point. And then we'll be like, see, I told you, everybody, you think we're more crafty than we think we are.
I'd say listen to Jeff. Don't
Yeah,
launch a bar.
Oh, you guys have bars?
We did.
Yeah,
We discontinued them.
Yeah, so I feel like that's where everybody goes to die. So we don't have a bar, but that's the real story. The story that sounds good, and it's so cheesy because I just told you guys the other story, is, Barnana is nature's original energy bar, because the banana is already pre-wrapped. You guys love it, huh? Great.
All right. Good.
Good.
All right, I will get Matt's contact information for you guys, so you'll be able to contact them. Thank you so much. That was great.
I'll stay.